Hi there, folks. I'm Carl Ravitch, and welcome to ESPN Classic Milestones, our tribute to Barry Bonds, who is, of course, the new home run king. He now stands atop the career home run list. It wasn't a question of if, it was a question of when, and he has done it. Some of the feats we have seen from Bonds we might not see again for quite a while. You've seen the career mark fall, but, of course, Bonds also has the single-season mark. On the menu here over the next 5 hours, we'll be showing 4 hours of programs dedicated to the new and former home run kings, starting with Classic Conversations, featuring interviews done with Bonds over the years. We'll also present Sports Century biographies on Bonds and the man he dethroned as the home run king, Henry Aaron. To top it off, we'll show you Barry doing what Barry does best, hitting home runs, lots of in the 1996 Home Run Derby. We'll be discussing his place in history with our great analyst, Dusty Baker, who, of course, managed him, and Steve Phillips, adding their perspective to the struggles and the accomplishments.
There's a high drive, deep into right center field, to the big part of the ballpark, number 71, and Barry Bonds is now the home run king. There's a high drive, Grissom back in center field. He's all the way back to the wall, number 72. Oh, man. First he broke the record, now he is rewriting the record book.
Here's the payoff, a floater to Bonds, and he hits it high, he hits it deep, and it is out of here, number 73.
All part of that magical 2001 season, so he now owns the single season and career home run records. Dusty, first of all, home run king, Barry Bonds, how does that sit with you?
Fine with me. I mean, because, you know, if it doesn't bother Hank Aaron, it doesn't bother me. And I talked to Hank about it, and, you know, Hank's happy for him. And so, you know, if Hank is happy for him, then I think we all should.
He's your home run king. Good?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a great talent. There's no question about it. He's a guy that worked very hard at his craft to make himself a great player. Now, obviously, some people have some concerns about how he got there ultimately in the end. But remember, he was an MVP player 4 times before all of the speculation even started. You know, and we'll go down in history, regardless of what you think he did, as one of the best hitters ever to play the game.
Single season and career home run records. Maris didn't own both. McGwire didn't own both. What does it mean to own both of those? Single season and obviously the all-time record.
Well, you know, usually they come hand in hand. You know, Babe Ruth had them. You know, he had both of them. And then Hank, you know, broke the all-time record. You know, but Hank didn't break the single season record. And the thing that I think that gets lost in the whole shuffle here is what a great ball player Barry is as a 5-tool player. You know, you think of Babe Ruth, you remember him being a pitcher. You remember him being a home run hitter. You remember Hank Aaron, you know, he had a batting title, and he's also the home run king, but and a couple Golden Gloves. But Barry Bonds, this guy has a number of Golden Gloves. He has 500 stolen bases. He's a home run king. You know, he's a total package ball player.
That season, I mean, the 73 home runs, that was sort of the thing that blinked at you, but there were so many other astronomical numbers from that year.
Well, I mean, you think about the walks that he took as well. I mean, really, what you see is when the power really started to go up, his base on balls, his eye at the plate got better and better. He worked himself into much better hitters' counts. And when he got his pitch, he rarely, if ever, missed his pitch. And that's a guy that, I mean, you know, when you hit for that kind of power and you work the count, the numbers start to mount.
Well, but you know, another thing is that the fact that when his walks went up, his batting average went up too. Yeah. You know, his batting average went up to 370 something. I mean, that's almost unheard of.
What amazed you? I mean, you were a great hitter. What amazed you? What is the thing that you sat there every single day and said, I can't?
Well, the thing that amazed me most was probably his discipline, his patience at the plate. I mean, not once did I ever see him lose discipline and patience and go after bad pitches. You know, they could walk him 10 times in a row and they throw him one pitch to hit, and he was ready for it. And that's the toughest thing to do, is to stay ready all the time, because, you know, everybody wants to lull you to sleep and then sneak one past you. I never saw him lull to sleep, and I really saw him miss a pitch. And I remember talking to Hank Aaron years ago, and I said, Hank, you know, what kind of concentration do you have, which is evidently the same concentration that Barry Bonds has, that they don't miss pitches? You know, good hitters will pop them up, they'll foul them off, but, you know, when the great hitters like Barry and Hank, when these guys get a pitch to hit, they don't miss it. They square on the ball, and they usually hit out of the ballpark.
See, the amazing thing to me is it's one thing not to miss your pitch. I mean, to have that sort of consistent contact. How do they all go over the wall? Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to be locked in and to drive the ball, but they all go. I mean, 73 over the. That's the remarkable thing to me is, I mean, you get locked in like that, you get your pitches and you drive it. But the fact that they keep going out of the ballpark, that's the most amazing thing to me.
Did you ever have a conversation with him? I mean, in private, saying, okay, geez, that 2-0 pitch, how'd you lay off that? Why'd you lay off? Did you ever get inside and find out what it was that he saw? Was it his vision?
Well, that's number one. You know, Barry, he's not that easy to get inside of. You know,
No, I know.
He won't let you inside.
He wouldn't even. I mean, did you ever ask?
Oh yeah,
How'd you
yeah.
do
I
that?
asked him.
Why'd you lay off that one?
And you know the thing about it, he told me. He says, Dusty, when the ball's leaving the pitcher's hand, he can tell right away if it's a fastball, curveball, slider. He sees things that only Hank Aaron saw. I mean, you know, he'd see the guy tip his pitches a little bit to the right, or he'd go a little bit to the left instead of straight over his head. He knew what was coming.
When did you know? You were a great hitter. When did you see it? When did you know?
Well, I saw it sometime. I just didn't see it as often as these guys saw it. You know, that's the thing. But see, the thing about Barry is, he said the ball would come down a chute. It comes from the pitcher's hand. And when it leaves the pitcher's hand, it comes down like a chute to the plate, and the plate's here, and it come down the chute to the plate. And by the time it got to the plate, he knew if it was a ball or a strike, if it was a pitch that he could hit out of the ballpark, or if it was a pitch that it was just a base hit pitch.
Incredible. All right, great stuff. We're just getting started here on this tribute to Barry Bonds, the new home run king. Classic Conversations will be along in just a little while, but when we come back, we'll get into how Bonds is a polarizing figure. You either love him or you don't.
He didn't want people to be his friend. His attitude was, and I remember him saying these exact words, if you want a friend, buy a dog.
The Leafs slowly cleared the run side. Sundin trying to go in. He lost the puck and it was cleared away to center. Look out, they're up there again. These flyers are coming hard. Score! That is it. Jeremy Roenick.
Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. The underhand to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions. First time in 86 years, the Red Sox have won baseball's world championship.
Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our shared passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
Excuse me. I had no idea that was an insult in Swahili. Clarissa.
Can you tell me what's going on here?
Just some friends who've come over for a quick game of poker.
There's a better way to bring the world together. Poker. Learn for free at the world's largest poker school. PartyPoker.net. Everyone's playing.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Welcome everyone to ESPN Classic Milestones. Barry Bonds, the new home run king. Classic Conversations with Bonds will be on in just a minute. You can debate how much admiration or respect Barry deserves for what he's accomplished, but it is undeniable. His memorabilia doesn't fetch nearly as much money as Mark McGwire's did a decade ago, or even as much as Hank Aaron's is worth today. As Bob Lee reports, some people love Bonds and some people don't.
He is not nearly as popular as, let's say, someone like an Albert Pujols or a Derek Jeter. In my other hand is a genuine example of a Ted Williams autograph.
Joe Orlando authenticates collectibles. In this volatile industry where sentiment and emotion mix with raw capitalism, he says the bonds market is a bear market.
Barry Bonds memorabilia is a bit soft right now in the marketplace, and the reason for that is I think fans and collectors are sort of reserving judgment, and really we're going to have to wait at least 2 to 3 years from now out whether or not history will reflect kindly on Barry Bonds and his accomplishments.
Steroid suspicions on top of Bonds' perceived personality are the reasons that Bonds' items have declined 50% or more.
In Barry's case, I think it's safe to say that he isn't the most lovable guy in the world when it comes to the perception by the fans and the collectors out there. So his sort of perceived personality isn't doing him any favors when it comes to the value of his collectibles.
There's a high drive deep into right center field, and Bonds has hit number 70.
If you go back a couple of years ago, Barry Bonds would actually put out home run bats during his record-breaking 2001 season. Some of those bats eclipsed $20,000. Most recently, one of those same bats only generated $5,000 to $6,000. So I think that really illustrates the decline in popularity of Bonds memorabilia.
But the best time to buy, dip in the market.
If I was to tell a person, is this a time to buy Barry Bonds memorabilia, I'd probably tell them, yeah, it's a down market. I think long term, people are going to look at Barry Bonds' career, and I think they're still going to revere him as the best player of our era. And I think that his material will have a resurgence of some sort, you know, maybe 5-10 years down the line.
There's a long drive. Ball's hit deep, deep. It is gone. He did it. He did it.
Hank Aaron has none of the perceived PR baggage dragging down Bonds' saleability.
There's been kind of a revival and kind of an increase in the interest in Hank Aaron game-used memorabilia, but I think, you know, in the medium-term impact is even going to be better.
But beyond a belated artistic and financial appreciation of Aaron and the market forces buffeting Bonds memorabilia is the man whose persona and signature reach across the ages to underpin the entire industry.
In the hobby, baseball, it begins and ends with the Babe, and Babe Ruth memorabilia is as hot as it's ever been.
And even lower quality Ruth-signed baseballs can fetch $8,000.
And the funny thing is, with Babe Ruth, you can't say that his stuff is that rare. He was the most prolific signer of his day, and even later, I don't think players were ever as accessible as Babe Ruth was. But I think the reason is that people still look, you know, back at his storied career, regardless of the records that might fall or the impact that might have. They still hold him in high regards as probably the greatest player to ever play the game.
Dethroned now as even the second most prolific home run hitter of all time by the man who owns the moment, but not the market.
Bob, thank you very much. Memorabilia is a fascinating industry to begin with. I mean, you always want to get the item that's going to last forever. You know, Bonds holding this home run record might not last forever. And the line is pretty distinct. Either you love him or you don't. What would you do? If somebody said, you want Barry Bonds' 756 home run ball, you want that? Is that really worth something?
Oh, yeah, I'd want it. I wouldn't want to pay all the money they're going to have to pay for it.
When you were there, they were swimming in McCovey Cove to get baseballs that Barry Bonds hit.
Correct.
Think the numbers from now until he ends his career will be the same, or is it way down?
Oh, yeah, the numbers would be the same.
Really?
Yeah.
In that cove? Every ball he hits after 756, 57, 58.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think so, because I know a guy out there, I think his name is Bob the Kayak Guy, or Kayak Bob, or something like that. And
he wants everyone.
Oh, he wants everyone. I mean, he's out there every day in a kayak, and he's mad when he misses a game.
Talk about Barry on the road. You throw the ball back, you know, from 758 to 59 to 60. Do you throw it back, or do you hold on to it?
I'm holding on to it, man. I'm cashing in. That's college money, college tuition. I mean, listen. No matter what you feel about him, it is compelling what he's doing. I mean, it's the most sacred record in all of sports, and where that really goes, I think, has tremendous value to the game of baseball and to any fan lucky enough to get a ball.
One thing we have certainly seen, you know it firsthand, his relationship with that city of San Francisco. You know, when less than 200 of his home runs came in Pittsburgh, all the rest with the Giants. What is that relationship like?
Well, that relationship's great. I mean, they love Barry Bonds in San Francisco. I mean, there's always some people that's not going to like you, but basically that's his home. You know, he was raised right down this road from there in San Carlos. He went to high school there. He went to elementary, junior high school there. I mean, that's Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, and Willie McCovey.
But why the universal acceptance? Hometown guy, has our name on the uniform, so therefore he can do no wrong? Well, I mean, privately, I got to believe you, ask some fans.
There's some people there that think he, you know, can do some wrong. But the main thing is, I mean, home is where the heart is, and you're generally accepted more in your home because people know you from the time that you were young, and they have a better idea about what you're about.
Most vilified superstar you've ever seen, though, in other towns?
It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. As good a player as he is, to have negative emotion for him But here's the thing. It's also the thing that's motivated him his entire career. The little chip on his shoulder where somebody is going to boo him and say, you can't do this. All he does is try to prove people wrong.
And it's a lot worse than just booing him. We'll come back, folks, on this edition of ESPN Classic. You judge for yourself. You'll hear Bonds in his own words throughout the years. It's Classic Conversations as ESPN Classic's tribute to the new home run king, Barry Bonds, continues.
Doc would tell me, he goes, you know, during the offseason, you're such a different person, but during the season, you can be such a butt. I mean, I don't even want to be around you. I don't even like you. And to me, that's my game. I don't want you to like me.
Well, there's a new foot on the block in the National Hockey League. The Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
Timlin. Next, Timlin on it. Throws to first. For the first time in history, the World Championship banner will fly north of the border. The Toronto Blue Jays are baseball's best in 1992.
Hello, Moto.
Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy?
Yeah, every day, same time. Bagel Boy gets a toasted bagel.
Well, he's got to have a name.
Bagel, eh?
Yeah, toasted, buttered, 12-grain bagel. Delicious.
Tim Hortons, right?
You know it.
Nothing beats a Tim Hortons 12-grain bagel with the goodness of 12 different grains baked right in.
Bagel Boy really knows his bagels.
Oh, forgot to get his name.
Always fresh, always Tim Hortons.
This will get a run home, maybe more. Mosby going back, looking up, out of here and into the black seats, the hitting background. There aren't many leadoff men who can launch one like that to dead center field. Canseco bids for the second homer of the inning. If it's fair, he's got it. Whoa. And it settles into the upper deck.
Oh, my goodness.
A double by Weiss and a pair of monumental homers from Ricky Henderson and Canseco.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Welcome back to Barry Bonds, the new home run king. I'm Carl Ravitch. Now, over his many years in the spotlight, Bonds has run the gamut of emotions, coming across at different times as charming, surly, candid, and brusque. So what kind of guy is Bonds? Listen to him in his own words as part of our tribute to the man who now holds one of the most storied records in sports. These are the classic conversations of Barry Bonds.
I don't know what arrogance is. Your dad's a professional baseball player, so the scouts look at you to do a lot more. If I think you like me, I'll do anything possible to make you not like me.
Back to the drive, deep right field, go ball, it's gone, and the Pirates win it in the bottom of the 11th inning.
I've been to every championship since Little League, and I've lost every championship from the Little League all the way up.
Barry Bonds has become the second man in baseball with 40 homers and 40 steals.
If you're good, you're good.
Nobody out. Deep to right field. This one is on its way to McCovey Cove. Number 500. It's into the water. Bonds has hit the historic 500th homer.
Hello, I'm Bob Stevens, and welcome to ESPN Classic's Classic Conversations. Over the next hour, we'll take a look at the career of Barry Bonds through the slugger's own words, from his rocky relationship with the Pirates front office to his days with the Giants, and so much more. As Barry Bonds started his 2001 season, all the focus was on when the three-time MVP would reach the magical number of 500 career homers. Well, that milestone was accomplished by April 17th. And then Bonds started to hit balls out of the park at an unthinkable rate. slowly moved to another magical, although new baseball number, 70. Bonds set a record for the most home runs hit before the All-Star break. Roy Firestone had a chance to sit down with Barry Bonds during his first half run.
He hits it high. He hits it deep. Out of here.
Can you embrace this experience? You know what you're up against in the next few months. Can you maybe, I know the spotlight hasn't always been your favorite thing in the world. Today, to put it lightly.
My whole goal, Roy, has been winning. And you know, everyone's going to talk about this streak. And, you know, my whole thing is, what if it ends today? What's everyone going to say after that? You know, am I the same person I am today as I will be tomorrow? Or am I different to everyone because I didn't do something they expected? You know, am I put on a pedestal for their achievement? Or am I going to be, you know, all of a sudden now I get so many nice things thrown at me, I'm almost shocked. I don't know where it's coming from. You know, oh, he's handling himself so right. I'm the same person I was last year than I am this year. I don't care about these home runs. So, I mean, as much as people want to assume that they don't believe it, I don't really care. I'd rather win a World Series ring.
But people still are fascinated with the blasts. They're fascinated with the home run. They love to look at numbers. They see you're ahead of McGwire. They see that you're on a pace. And invariably, whether you win or lose, whether you like it or not, that's what they're going to want to talk about.
I can embrace it. It's just that I don't want Mark McGwire's home run record.
You don't want it?
I want his ring. I want that ring he has. That's what we play for. You know, right now, you know, ask me, well, what are you doing different? I don't know. You know, you have to ask God. I can't figure this out. I have never seen anything like this in my life besides Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. I've never been through anything like this in my entire life. I can't explain it. I don't know. If I knew what I was doing, I would have done this a long time ago.
When you are the center of the circus, and it will be a circus if you keep it at this pace. Can you endure day after day after day the crowds and the questions and the stupid questions and the intrusions and it's like your life times 10. Can you do it?
I can do it, Roy. It just, as long as people understand that I can't predict the future for you. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, I look at these records that they show on TV. I've had plenty of talks with my father and Willie. A little bit, because the problem is during this home run thing, no one wants to talk to me. Willie won't talk to me. My dad won't talk to me. The best part was KMBR had this thing on, and some of the media said, well, if Barry starts talking to the media, everyone's going to know it's fake. Barry never talks to the media that much. So, I mean, if Barry all of a sudden does like Sammy Sosa, you're going to know he's lying. So, I don't know. I'm kind of caught in the middle of this whole thing of, what should I do? What shouldn't I do? How should I handle this? What should the club do? What should we all do together? You know, I think it should be an enjoyable thing for everybody. If it does happen, everyone should enjoy it.
It's got to be a lonely feeling, though.
It is lonely. I mean, even my own teammates don't really say anything. No one said anything. You know, sometimes I'll look in the paper and you still get that, well, it doesn't take Barry to win, it takes a team, which is right. It does take a team to win. And so everyone avoids this. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do. It's lonely at times. You really feel alone out there at times.
How do you define arrogant?
To me, it'd be arrogant. I mean, I don't know what arrogance is. What is the definition of arrogance? To me, it'd be somebody with lack of confidence. I'm very confident in what I do, but I'm good at what I do. I don't deny the fact that I'm not good. I don't deny that. I don't think anyone should deny it. If you're good, you're good.
If you could remake the image for whatever reason, if you could change it all in the midst of this incredible year, it's already incredible year no matter what happens.
Right.
Would you?
I wouldn't change anything, Roy. Just do the simple fact that I can't. I'm not going to change what has happened. I'm not going to change the past. What's there is there. I've learned from it. That's one thing I have done. I'm very proud of myself because I have made some changes about myself. And I have learned. I'm still somewhat the same person at times. You know, I do get those flashbacks once in a while.
In 2001, Barry Bonds set a new record for most home runs hit by the All-Star break with 39, surpassing the record of 37 homers set by Reggie Jackson in 1969 and Mark McGwire in 1998. Reggie ended up with 47 homers that season. Big Mac set the single-season record of 70 in 98. Barry Bonds was selected in the second round of the 1982 amateur draft by the San Francisco Giants, ironically. But after he was unable to agree on a contract, he elected to attend Arizona State University. In 1983, Bonds and the Sun Devils were in the College World Series. Here's Jim Price with this look at the freshman outfielder.
Your dad's a professional baseball player, so the scouts look at you to do a lot more than, you know, any of the other kids that their parents aren't professional baseball players. But when it comes down in the long run, you know, your dad can only give you pointers and stuff, and you still have to do it on the end. I love my dad, you know, a lot, and I like everything that he did, and I watch him on film because we have a lot of the videotapes with him and Willie Mays. And I watch, I listen to him, I tell him how I do. You know, we talk a lot, but when it comes down to it, I really have to do it all by myself.
The senior Bonds Bobby was a premier player in the major leagues for many years, so of course this has been helpful for the young freshman who was a Giant second-round pick out of high school.
They didn't give me the money that I wanted. You know, I wanted 75. They said 70. You know, people say, what's 5,000? 5,000 is better than no 5,000, you know? And I said, you know, I wanted 100, and I said, okay, I'll go to 75. And I wanted to sign, and they didn't want to give it to me because they didn't sign the first-round draft for 100,000, so they didn't think they should sign me. So I'm coming here for 3 years and hope to get more out of here.
Bonds has really come on strong for the Sun Devils. In addition to being part of one of college baseball's fastest outfields, he's improved tremendously over the course of the season in all categories.
Bonds has come on lately, playing incredibly well right now. We thought he probably would. He had to grow up, and he's really starting to contribute.
For Arizona State to continue in the series, young Barry Bonds will have to be heard from. From the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska, I'm Jim Price, ESPN.
Arizona State lost 2 of the 4 games they played in Omaha. The Sun Devils were eliminated by eventual runner-up Alabama. The following year, the Sun Devils returned to the College World Series, where Bonds tied a record for consecutive hits in a World Series with 7. Bonds left college after his junior year when he was selected by the Pirates with the 6th overall pick in the 1985 draft. In his 5th year in the major leagues, Barry Bonds won the 1990 National League MVP award, hitting .301 with 33 homers and 114 RBIs and 52 stolen bases. Bonds became only the 2nd player to hit 30 homers and steal 50 bases in a season. He also won his first career Gold Glove in 1990. The Pirates won their first division title since 1999, but were defeated in the NLCS by the Reds in 6 games. Bonds went 3 for 18 in his first postseason series. Coming up, we'll take a look at how the relationship between the Pirates and Bonds soured as the all-star outfielder neared free agency.
Trade me. Do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and trade me.
Traps it. Here he goes, bidding for one. Here's the clear. Here it is. He scores! Hextall scored a goal on the empty net.
This is the first time in my 40 years being around this game that I've actually seen a goaltender do that.
Bloop shot into left. Here comes Conine. He can't get it. He's throwing home. Snow trying to score. The tag. A collision. He is out at home. The upset of the 2003 postseason.
Bud Light presents blatant marketing ploys.
Want an easy way to sell beer? Put a woman in a cowboy hat in your ad. Why? Because it's hot. We've tried other hats. Not hot. Not hot. Surprisingly hot. Blatant marketing ploy? Absolutely. But a woman in a cowboy hat doesn't make a beer great. Brewing it longer for a refreshingly easy drinking taste does. And that's no marketing ploy. Bud Light. Go on taste.
On Thursday, August 9th, Dairy Queen's most magical treat will become even more magical because all proceeds from every blizzard you buy help children in your Children's Miracle Network hospital.
Are you ready ready to change your life, look younger, and be stronger?
I went from a size 38 to a size and lost over 70 pounds.
You too can get remarkable results with Bowflex Home Gyms. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week.
When they say you can work out 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, they mean exactly that. You've got to get this DVD. It'll change your life.
Call now for a free DVD that shows how you can get great results with Bowflex Home Gyms.
I gave all of my fat clothes to my fat friends.
Only Bowflex Home Gyms have Power Rod technology, the secret to getting a strong, sculpted body fast.
I am not embarrassed to take my shirt off. I look better. I feel better. My wife gives me that little wink every now and then.
Own your very own Bowflex Home Gym for no money down and low monthly payments. Be strong, be fit, be Bowflex. Call or go online now for your free DVD that tells you all about Bowflex Home Gyms. Call now.
Friday on Real Classic.
Well, I know a damn race driver when I see one.
Let me drive. I will make a fool out of you.
No, I can't watch you do this.
There's nothing I can't do with the race car. Can someone talk to me? I'm not scared. You build me a car and I'll win Daytona next year.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman star in the Real Classic Days of Thunder. Only on ESPN Classic.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Welcome back. I'm Bob Stevens. After his MVP season of 1990, Barry Bonds, still 2 years away from being a free agent, was headed to arbitration with the Pirates. With salaries skyrocketing, Pittsburgh was slow to offer its superstar left fielder a long-term deal. This caused Bonds to openly voice his displeasure with the organization.
The reporters, Paul Meyer and Bob Hertzl back in Pittsburgh, who've had great rapport with the players, and with myself. And he asked me how much I would be, he asked me, what would you do? And we were talking about open market and stuff like that. And I asked him, what do you think I'm worth in the open market? And he said about $5 million a year. And I said, well, you answered your own question. And the next minute I hear on the wire, I want 5 years, $25 million. I'm a National League Most Valuable Player, and I've been traded since 88. 1988, every year I've been traded, even now, still. And it's just not right. It's not fair. You look at things that people who made history in their life, Evel Knievel, you can go on, Kareem, and I make history and I'm doing nothing. I mean, it's just not what's fair. I love to play at home, be in San Diego. I feel that they have an owner there that wants to have a winning ball club and not concerned about how much money he's putting in his pocket. Because if you have a winning ball club, everyone benefits from that. Carl, trade me. Simple. To save yourself a lot of grief. You can stop going to those conference meetings and voting. You can just trade me and not have to worry about it. Sign Bobby, sign Drabick, and I'll see you when we play, unless I'm in the American League.
In spring training of 1991, things started to boil over for Barry Bonds. After yelling at a team publicist for not stopping photographers from taking pictures of him, Bonds then had an argument with Pirates instructor Bill Verdon, prompting manager Jim Leyland to confront his all-star left fielder.
Now don't with me. I'm not don't with me no more. Enough of this because I'm the manager. Just be next 5 minutes. If you don't want to be here, get your out and quit. Everybody knows it's done. So let's get over with right now. I don't want to see it no more.
Anybody that doesn't have an ego is Jim Leyland. I think most of you know that. But I do know one thing. I am the goddamn manager, and I'm going to run this goddamn team. And people that aren't happy with that can go play somewhere else. I can't help it.
The Pirates and Bonds did not settle on a long-term contract, but the All-Star did hit 25 homers and drove in over 100 runs for a second straight year anyway. Pittsburgh again won the NL East, but lost to the Braves in 7 games in the NLCS. After the season, Bobby Bonilla signed with the Mets as a free agent, while Barry Bonds signed another 1-year deal with the Pirates. Bonds didn't let the lack of a long-term contract affect his play on the field as he won his second MVP award in '92. Bonds hit .311 with 30 homers and 103 RBI. The Pirates won the NL East for the third straight year, and for the second straight year, they faced the Braves in Game 7 of the NLCS. Bonds' Pirate career would end in heartbreaking fashion.
He hacked at the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit! Justice has scored the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe! Safe at the plate! The Braves go to the World Series!
Barry Bonds played over 7 seasons with the Pirates. He collected 984 hits with 176 home runs and 556 RBIs. Bonds stole 251 bases, 5th all-time in Pirate history. He also collected 3 Gold Gloves and 2 MVP awards during his stay in Pittsburgh. When Bonds arrived in 1986, the Pirates finished last in the NL East. By '92, they'd won the NL East 3 straight years. But Bonds struggled in the postseason, hitting .180 with just 1 homer and 3 RBI in 20 games. When we return, Barry leaves Pittsburgh and moves to the Bay Area to follow in the footsteps of his father and godfather.
A fly ball to Andre Dawson, and deep. Dawson to the track, Dawson to the wall. It's gone! Home run by Rick Monday, and the Dodgers go wild.
They're going home. They're going home in 72 in Moscow. We stayed. And now the Philadelphia Flyers roam around a little bit, and they're going home.
On Thursday, August 9th, Dairy Queen's most magical treat will become even more magical because all proceeds from every blizzard you buy help children in your Children's Miracle Network hospital.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look,
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
As I was saying, Sasquatch's small brain really limits his intelligence. It's the Columbia Brewery nestled in the mountains. One brewery, one brewmaster.
There's even Glacier River.
It's me! Look out, Sasquatch, I'm gonna get you!
Oh, you probably will, because I don't have a brain.
Where were we?
Limited intelligence.
Right.
Glacier Fresh Kokanee. It's the beer out here.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
Yards and touchdowns. That's what I'm all about. I work close to the line, right where the action is. I'm always on the run, to somewhere or from someone. This game is fast and mean. We have 3 plays to get it right, right? When I make the catch, break the tackle, run the yards, and cross the line, I'm ready for more. This is my zone. This is my Sports Center.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Right now, I'm a San Francisco Giant. I love to be in San Francisco. I'm going back home, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to help the San Francisco Giants win.
In 1993, Barry Bonds signed with the Giants, the same team that his dad had played for his first 7 seasons in the big leagues. Bonds had very high expectations coming over from Pittsburgh after winning those 2 MVP awards in 3 seasons. The Giants won 103 games in his first season, but missed the play 1 game to an old Bonds rival, the Braves. Linda Cohn now takes a look at Barry's first season by the Bay.
Whoever said money can't buy happiness never saw Barry Bonds play baseball. The San Francisco Giants gave Bonds a record-setting contract, and Bonds came up big.
Left center field, Bonds, great catch! Dykstra going back, it's gone!
His impact? Immediate. By the All-Star break, Bonds had already hit 24 home runs with 71 RBIs, and on July 22nd, the Giants were up by 10 in the West. Like all great players, Bonds made those around him better. In fact, like Bonds, many of his teammates, including Matt Williams and Robbie Thompson, had career years. But during August and early September, the Braves were gaining. Bonds was struggling, and so were the Giants. A 2-week stretch saw Bonds go without a homer or RBI, and the once commanding lead was gone. But Bonds proved he and the Giants weren't gone for good. In his last 16 games, Bonds hit .340, slugging 6 homers with 21 RBIs. But his drive for a division title fell a game short. Bonds' final numbers were nothing short of spectacular, leading the league in 6 categories with 40 more total bases than runner-up and teammate Matt Williams. Bonds also hit an eye-popping .358 with runners in scoring position, and he finished 4th in hitting with a .336 average. Bonds was the glue that kept this club together. He missed just 3 games, while key players Will Clark, Matt Williams, and Robbie Thompson combined to sit out 81 games. With his instant hero status, Bonds helped the Giants set a season attendance record. A year after, they almost moved to Tampa Bay. Bonds joins Jimmy Fox and Frank Robinson as the only players to win MVP awards for 2 different teams. He's first since the Phillies' Mike Schmidt to capture 3 Most Valuable Player awards, while the other 7 with 3 MVP awards all own World Series rings. Forget the ring. Bonds has yet to appear in a fall classic, and that championship void haunts him.
So it's the only thing right now. Now you can win all the MVP trophies in the world. You can win all the Golden Gloves, but just that one time. I mean, just one time, you know, before it's over.
For now, Bonds will just have to settle for being the game's best player.
After the season, Peter Gammon sat down to talk to the 3-time MVP about his first season with the Giants and his plans for a possible acting career.
Barry, is this MVP any more special than any others?
This one's really special. New team, contract, all the odds were against me. Just the odds. You know, my own confidence in my own ability, I thought that I would overcome it if I just proved to them on the field what I'm capable of doing. But this one means a lot. My teammates, the 103 wins to tie a franchise record. My teammates' acceptance, the media treated me outstanding. Fans treated me great. The only bad part was the police would pull me over just to say hello. That was the only bad part about that the whole time. But most of them I went to high school with, which was good.
Yeah. Did you find it a little bit amusing that people immediately started asking about winning another one?
Because I think, it's a goal of mine. It's something that, I want to achieve. It's something that I feel I am capable of achieving. I don't know what level at times, but I know that you're going to get the whole package when you have me.
And yet, for all you've accomplished, you talk a lot about the frustration of not playing in a World Series.
Yeah, it's a thing for me to deal with. I think that's my biggest striving point right now. Hall of Fame is so far-fetched right now. It's just that my biggest, Peter, you guys or other sports writers say, he can be the next Michael Jordan of baseball or he is the best baseball player. But I'll never be in that class unless I win. I'll never be in the class with my godfather until I win. I know what it's like to lose. Peter, if I had a chance to tell you my whole life story about winning and losing, I've been to every championship since Little League, and I've lost every championship from the Little League all the way up. And from College World Series, losing it, to playoffs, losing it, to the Giants going to the last game and losing. So I can handle the lost part. I don't know about the winning part because I never won yet. One day.
You're already talking about the drive for next year. I mean, talk a little bit about what goes into your mindset. That you could go through this. You probably should have won the MVP 4 straight years. And here you are talking about training already.
Well, I only weeks off during off season, and this one's harder. My trainer's already started. We started the 1st of November, and it's been harder already for me. Now, it's just because it's something no one's ever done. It's something they don't think can be done. It's something that people are saying I'm not going to be able to do. It's just a fact of, I know that the media, I know that the sports writers are going to force me to have to try to do some inhuman accomplishments on the field.
Didn't you get tired, though, of having to read dollar figures after your name?
Yeah, I did. I mean, when I said I played for nothing, now they understand I played for nothing. I played Little League for nothing. I play the game because I love baseball. And my dad always told me, and Willie told me, if you play the game that you're capable of playing, you'll get paid anyway. So why worry about what you're making? Because if baseball was no money, would you still play baseball? And I said, yeah. Would you describe yourself as you'd like to act in fairly serious roles? Very serious roles. The reason why is because it's the only other thing that I have interest in besides baseball. It's the only thing that I know that I would put as much heart and guts and soul into something like I do baseball. I wouldn't want to sing because I can't. I don't play video games. I don't do anything. I play golf, but I'm not good. So I know I wouldn't want to be a golfer because I'm frustrated because I don't have any teammates out there. So it's only one sport that I think that I'd really not do well. But acting is something I know I'd put my heart and soul in, and that to just really work at. I really enjoy it. So I guess we don't have to ask, if someone were doing a story of your life, you wouldn't have to ask for someone to play you. You could play yourself. Pretty much. Which would be good, though, but yeah, I wouldn't want to play myself. Playing me, that's the one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to be me anymore.
When we come back, we'll take a closer look at Barry Bonds and his image.
I'll do anything. If I think you like me, I'll do anything possible to make you not like me.
Bullock turns with Ferraro. Here they come. 2 on Bullock. Shoots. Scores! David Bullock! Islanders! And they'll be a new Stanley Cup champion in 1993.
Is your dandruff turning people off? Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo helps kiss those flakes goodbye and smells amazing. It's proven. From the first wash, no visible flakes. Satisfaction guaranteed. Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Garnier.
Protect your hair with Garnier Fructis. Hit tsn.ca/Fructis to enter the Garnier Fructis Ultimate Sports Fan Contest. You can go behind the scenes with Rod Black at a pro football game. Garnier Fructis, essential hair equipment.
Hello, Moto.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look,
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah. Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Autoglass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
I think we should promote the new cold certified cans. When the beer reaches the perfect cold temperature, the mountain changes color. I think we should talk about the summer cooler ideas.
Just thinking out loud here, but what if over it?
We have a winner. When the cold certified can changes color, your beer is certified cold. Go to CoorsLight.ca if you'd like to see how this got decided.
Big weekend on TSN. Your ticket to the biggest events. Rogers Cup quarterfinals, Friday. CFL Friday Night Football. Riders Argos Friday at 7:30 and Bombers Lions at 10:30. 2007 PGA Championship, Friday at 2, Saturday and Sunday at 11. NFL preseason, Seahawks Chargers, Sunday at 8. Big weekend on TSN.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Barry Bonds has become the second man in the history of baseball with 40 homers and 40 steals in one season. Welcome back. I'm Bob Stevens. In 1996, Barry Bonds joined Jose Canseco as the only players to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in the same season. But dating back to his days with the Pirates, Bonds was never one to shy away from speaking his mind, and that characteristic caused Bonds to sometimes struggle with his popularity. In 1992, Bonds sat down with Peter Gammons to talk about his image.
Comes in my face. Trade me. Do yourself a favor, do me a favor, and trade me.
Much can and has been said about Barry Bonds, beginning with the widely held opinion that he is the player in the game. He doesn't fake smiles. He never politics. He just knows he's good. The operative word on Barry Bonds is arrogant.
If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have that desire or confidence in yourself, who does? Dwight Gooden and I are really close friends, and Doc would tell me, he goes, you know, during the off-season, you're such a different person, but during the season, you can be such a butt. I mean, I don't even want to be around you. I don't even like you. And to me, that's my game. I don't want you to like me.
Doesn't it give you a little bit of an advantage because other people are trying so hard to beat you that they overplay?
Yeah, I do that a lot. I play this little mind game with them. I'll do anything. If I think you like me, I'll do anything possible to make you not like me. I'll do anything because when Gooden gets upset at me or somebody else gets upset at me, and the only reason I'm using Gooden because he's a good friend of mine, he's mad at me, and now I've taken him out of his concentration of his game. He is so concerned about striking me out or trying to make me look bad. That fastball that like that, all of a sudden stays straight, and it's right in my alley.
Whatever his image, the Pirates players respect Bonds, not only for his honesty, but because he is that rare player whose ego so drives him that when he isn't hitting, he plays even harder in the field.
I've just been that one player that's been able to separate the two. When I go on the field, I'm a defensive player. When I'm hitting, I'm an offensive player. And growing up with playing with my dad and stuff and going to games with him, the only thing I could do is play defense. The only thing I do is shag baseballs, and you got Willie Mays and everyone going, you can't catch, and I had to prove myself over and over so much. So it's always been that vendetta with me as far as proving to my dad and Willie Mays and them that I can play defense as well as they can.
Sometimes fans see Bonds differently, so we gave him a chance to see his relationship with the fans.
See, and right there, you try and be polite, and you try and tell them that you have things to do because we have, I have to go back to work. I can't sit there all day and sign autographs. Right now, I am doing, right there, I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to do, but because it's spring training, Leland is more lenient to allow you to do a little bit of signing.
Or, if he doesn't happen to have a pen.
You gotta have a pen, man. I can't help you.
Here you are.
Fans, I think, sometimes expect you to carry around a book full of pens in your pocket, that this is something that you do a lot. I think if you really want an autograph, I think you should be prepared for that. I mean, it's like going to school or class. You have to bring your books to class. You just can't go to class with no books. Other than that, you fail that course.
For all his self-confidence, it bothers Bonds when people dwell on his style more than his substance.
I give the people what they want to see. A lot of people think it's a hot dog way or a cocky style, but it's not. Believe it or not, they're excited when they see it. They like that. Even if they put some mustard on that hot dog or whatever, they still like it. They enjoy it. They wait for it to happen. Routine fly ball. Here goes Bonds. He's going to slap his hand on. I just letting the people know I got it. Everything's under control. Don't worry about it. My mom gets bothered by it a lot. I think she takes it more than anybody else. She says, you just be quiet. Just, you know how moms are and stuff. And I said, you know, Mom, it's okay, because when it's all over, said and done, and hopefully I'm in this game another 12 years or more, I never work a day in my life, and I have the last laugh.
In 1996, Barry Bonds talked to Roy Firestone about his growth as a ball player, Ken Griffey Jr., and the media in this vintage conversation.
People talked about you being the next Willie Mays, and you heard it your entire career. How do you think you're better? Are you better than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
I think the only part of me that is better is that I'm more patient at the plate than I was in the early part of my career. And I feel that I've earned a lot of respect from the umpires too, as well. That your strike zone changes somewhat a little bit. Thank you guys. But
you were once the highest paid player in baseball not very long ago, and now Mr. Griffey, your brother, is at close to $9 million a year.
That's good. I'm happy for him.
It's not a competitive thing. I got to get my 9 now.
No.
Well, did you pick up the phone when you heard what he was making?
No, I didn't even want to. Someone told me, my agent called me, Dennis, I think, told me that he did it, and then I saw it on ESPN, and I was happy for him. I mean, who wouldn't want to pay Ken Griffey Jr. that much money? I mean,
maybe the Mariners.
But without him, the Mariners, I think, move. And he's 25 years old. Well, Junior's 25. Yeah, 25 years old. I mean, you got to pay him for what he's doing at 25. I'll be 32, Roy. I have 3 more years on this, and then they're going to weigh what my ability is even then, and hopefully it's still the same, and I'm the same type player like a Montana, Ali, a Jerry Rice now at 34 when my contract's up, and then they'll sit there and say, he's worth it. What he's accomplished and what he's doing in his body is going to hold up, then he's worth it. But as far as Ken Griffey Jr., he's worth every penny of it.
Are you a better baseball player than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Am I?
Come on.
The truth?
The truth. I want the honest truth.
Outside the playoffs?
I want to know, are you a better baseball player than Ken Griffey Jr.? Come on, humility aside, we'll forgive the humility part. Are you a better ball player?
I'm a better left fielder.
Oh, boy, you're a diplomat. You were talking about guys who've been created as gods in sport.
Right.
One of your teammates, Deion Sanders.
Yes.
He's just signed a $35 million contract. Didn't play a full NFL season. Didn't play a full baseball season. And you like Deion personally.
Oh, I love him. I think he's a great athlete.
But the way the media this guy has got to walk around like
royalty. He's, Ken Griffey Jr. And that's my brother. That's my heart. And I would never say anything bad about Jr., but the media's made Jr. out to be, boom, he's all of baseball. Ken Griffey Jr., he's the kid. Jr.'s a grown man now, married with a child. Okay? And, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and we've all have had our off-season problems.
Do you think you've been a whipping boy?
I can't say a whooping boy. I can sit there and say that I wasn't the yes man that they wanted. And that's the same thing with Scottie Pippen. The same thing with Albert Bell.
Are you the bad guy, do you think? Not what you really think of yourself. In their mind, do you think you're the bad guy? The man who wears black?
For them, maybe a little bit, but not. Well, I don't feel that we're bad boys to them. I feel that we're easy targets for them because of the truth.
Coming up, Bobby and Barry, a true baseball family, and a look at their relationship when we return.
My dad, that's my best buddy. I can spend time with him every single day, all day, and not see anyone, with my wife and my kids, and we can play golf every day, and I can go the rest of my whole life that way.
Wade is out there, moving it up ice. Wade got it over. Here's the speedster. Marchand in, shot, score! The Edmonton Oilers! The Edmonton Oilers have upset the Dallas Stars!
Absolutely incredible.
And a Blue Jay team that looked like it was out of it in about June of this year.
They were 10 back. Now they're a strike away from clinching. The 1-2 pitch. The Toronto Blue Jays are Oakland bound.
Not one to be outshined? Aussie's new Sun-Touched Shine Spray quenches dry, lackluster hair, infusing it with moisture for dazzling radiance. Stunning shine, so you'll always get points. For style.
Sun get in your eyes?
Aussie's Sun-Touched Shine Collection. Add some roux to your two.
These All Brand snack bites taste awesome. These taste great. They taste pretty good. I love All Brand snack bites.
New Kellogg's All Brand snack bites taste great. Really.
Make fiber your friend with new Kellogg's all-brand snack bites.
Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy?
Yeah, every day, same time. Bagel Boy gets a toasted bagel.
He's gotta have a name.
Bagel, eh?
Yeah, toasted buttered 12-grain bagel. Delicious.
Tim Hortons, right?
You know it.
Nothing beats a Tim Hortons 12-grain bagel with the goodness of 12 different grains baked right in.
Bagel Boy really knows his bagels.
Oh, forgot to get his name.
Always fresh, always Tim Hortons.
Number 14. 14. 21.
If your credit score is too low, you could be waiting a long time for a lower interest rate on home loans, car loans, even credit cards. So log on to transunion.ca now and get your credit report and credit score. No waiting.
Hey, princess. All right over yet?
TransUnion. Manage your credit, manage your life.
Life's about options. When I take the snap, read the defense, I have infinite possibilities. And split seconds to decide. In my game, the clock is always running. Sometimes you gotta throw away the playbook and go with your gut. I'm keeping my options wide open. This is my read. This is my Sports Center.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Welcome back. Barry Bonds was named National League MVP for the first time in 1990. He was slowly moving out from the shadow of his father, Bobby. Jimmy Roberts sat down with Barry to talk about his dad and his 1990 season.
Reporters in the locker room, around the batting cage, studio anchors doing highlights. In fact, I'd be surprised if before the end of this interview, I didn't call you Bobby Bonds. Does that upset you?
No, not anymore. It's, to me, I take it as a compliment. You know, to me, my father was one of the greatest baseball players to ever live. To me, I don't know about everyone else. And to be in that class, whether it's Bobby or Barry, I'm from that person. That's my blood right there, and I don't really care. You know, it's you know, I know who I am. Barry knows who Barry is, and you know, if my name was Peter or Ricky or something, maybe they wouldn't get it so confused. But Barry and Bobby are pretty close, so you know, I'm able to accept.
I read once where you said that since you were a kid, you've had this nameplate around your neck that you've had a bad attitude. You've obviously been aware of that. Is this something this year you feel that because you've had the child and because you've gone through this transformation that's changed you in any way?
It hurt me so bad, I mean, that I'd go home and I just wouldn't talk. I'd sit around, and I was a bad person, and I'm the same person. You know, it's just that everything is going better this year, and now all of a sudden I've become a nicer person, but I haven't changed any.
Do you care what people think about you?
No, not really. When it's all over and said and done, the only people that are going to be there are my family. My dad, that's my buddy. I can spend time with him every single day, all day, and not see anyone, you know, with my wife and my kids, and we can play golf every day, and I can go the rest of my whole life that way.
Long fly ball to left field. Bonds going back. Does it have enough room? What a catch by Barry Bonds!
This is like an emotional, part for me because... You know, I could tell my kids, you know, for 6 months out of a career for me, I was like a quote-unquote superstar, you know. For a lifetime of work, you know, I don't even remember all that other stuff that I was growing up to do. And even if I don't get it, you know, I was close, you know, and it was just, it was worth it. It was worth it, and if it wasn't for, like, my family, and Mike Warren and those guys, it just would have never happened, you know, and
When Barry Bonds joined the Giants in 1993, he was following in his father's footsteps. Bobby Bonds, who played alongside Willie Mays in the Giants outfield in the late 60s and early 70s. At the start of the 2001 baseball season, Harold Reynolds had a chance to sit down with Barry and Bobby Bonds to discuss Barry's success as a player and his unfulfilled quest for a championship ring.
My whole dream as a child was to play with Willie and my dad. And, you know, Willie always told me that, you know, if you play long enough, you're going to put up numbers. Longevity is going to help you put up numbers. But you may never win a World Series ring. And so that's what I played for my whole life, just try to win a World Series ring and try to keep myself in good shape. But I don't know, man. It's kind of like, I'm going to get deep in here. It's, you know, it's that ghost that I chased, which is my godfather, Willie. And, you know, like I said, I've had the opportunity to pass my dad now. So I got half the ghost out of the way.
And you were talking about the fact that Bobby had 336?
332 home runs.
332. And you got to that, and you felt like, oh, okay, now I'm going after Willie.
I never forget when I hit my first home run in Atlanta. And I was so excited, and I called my dad up, and I was calling Willie and telling everybody, you know, I hit my first home run. And then, you know, my dad said, well, you have 331 more to go. And, you know, it wasn't so much with that. You know, I know that he was proud of me and everything, but it was always that competitive. And, you know, it was really gratifying when I finally surpassed my father and got half that shadow out of the way.
I want to go back to his first home run. Now, like any son, you guys almost have a brother relationship, father-son, obviously, but it's almost like brothers because you were competitive in nature and sports. So he hits his first home run in the big leagues, and he calls you up. What were you thinking?
When I knew that Barry hit a home run, yeah, I was extremely proud of him. He was accomplishing some of his dreams. I had already accomplished mine, but he was beginning to accomplish his. And I tell you one thing, as a father, you couldn't be more prouder.
Stump me with that one. I wouldn't expect that.
I wouldn't either.
You know, you're always trying to get the approval of your dad. And then finally, one day he calls you up after you finally passed him in home runs and really expressed how proud he was. What did that make you feel like?
I think the greatest, you know, the most tear-jerking thing that ever happened is, you know, when I did surpass my father in all the statistics and stats and stuff, you know, it was just him just saying, you know, you did okay, son. I mean, you did a good job, and I'm proud of you. You know, I hardly ever heard that, you know. It was always, you got, well, 441 more bases to go, or you got this. And I hear from Willie today now. Now, I mean, I don't get it from my dad now. I still get it from Willie. Every time in spring training, Willie's like, boy, how many home runs you got? Like 440 or 494, Willie. Oh, that means you need like 160, you know, and it's always the same thing. But, you know, I know the love is there, and I think that it made a big sigh of relief when I finally got when my dad finally just said, you know, I'm proud of what you've accomplished throughout your career.
He has become the first man in the history of the game to hit as many as 400 home runs and steal as many as 400 bases.
What do you admire about Barry's game?
When I left baseball, I was 39th on the list in home runs, all times 39th, which wasn't too bad. But what Barry has done, getting at the point of 500, to me, this is mind-boggling. Willie and I used to be the only person to have 300. And then along come Andrea Dawson, fine ball player. Barry's got 400, and now he's going to 500. So when you talk about all-around players, in the history of the game, you cannot leave his name out. You cannot, because if you look at home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, to me, it's an amazing feat.
You started off talking about the importance of playing for the World Series ring. Put that into perspective for me, what that means to Barry Bonds.
I don't know what God has in store, but I tell you one thing, I still know I'm going to have all these critics and all these people that have said things. One day I'm going to have that ring.
But you know what? It's going to happen. The ring is important.
I know it's going to happen.
I think the ring is important here also for our family. Not from the standpoint that he has to win it.
If not, I'll steal Willie's.
When we return, a look at the special bond between two of the game's greatest players, Barry Bonds and Willie Mays.
Are you ready to change your life, look younger, and be stronger?
I went from a size 38 to a size 30 and lost over 70 pounds.
You too can get remarkable results with Bowflex Home Gyms. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week.
When they say you can work out 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, they mean exactly that. You've got to get this DVD. It'll change your life.
Call now for a free DVD that shows how you can get great results with Bowflex Home Gyms.
I gave all of my fat clothes to my fat friends.
Only Bowflex Home Gyms have Power Rod technology, the secret to getting a sculpted body fast.
I am not embarrassed to take my shirt off. I look better. I feel better. My wife gives me that little wink every now and then.
Own your very own Bowflex Home Gym for no money down and low monthly payments. Be strong, be fit, be Bowflex. Call or go online now for your free DVD that tells you all about Bowflex Home Gyms. Call now.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah. Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Auto Glass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
Bud Light presents Blatant Marketing Ploys.
Want an easy way to sell beer? I'm wearing a cowboy hat in your ad. Why? Because it's hot. We've tried other hats. Not hot. Not hot. Surprisingly hot. Blatant marketing ploy? Absolutely. But a woman in a cowboy hat doesn't make a beer great. Brewing it longer for a refreshingly easy drinking taste does. And that's no marketing ploy. Bud Light. Go on taste.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Willie Mays and Barry Bonds have some very similar career numbers. Both have had the ability to hit the tape measure home run, steal a base, or make the dazzling catch. Ann Werner now takes a look at the special relationship that Mays and Bonds share.
Willie Mays and Bobby Bonds were teammates from 1968 through 1972 with the San Francisco Giants. They became good friends. And when Bonds' son Barry was born, he asked Mays to be the godfather.
God, I remember Willie ever since I was 5 years old. I remember seeing Willie on the field. I remember him and my dad colliding. I remember climbing above his locker. I remember him yelling at me. I remember being out on the field, and, you know, Willie used to make me throw all the time, though. Ever since I was a baby, I remember Willie.
He says he can remember playing catch with you when he was 5 years old.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I used to try to catch, because Willie used to always catch the ball down here. Always catch the ball down here. But he always told me to get my hands up. I could never understand why you always caught the ball down here, but you always wanted me to get my hands up. If you say I did, I'm sure I did, you know.
The baseball bond between Willie Mays and Barry Bonds continues today. When he's struggling, Bonds calls Mays for this year. That's only meant a couple of phone calls. They meet at the ballpark, where Mays demonstrates a cure to whatever is ailing Bonds.
He's such a technician on hitting, like Ted Williams to me and Tony Gwynn, and you know, they're just really technicians. And he would tell me to make a stance and put myself in a position. And then he will get in the same position, and Willie will say, see where your hands are, let's see where my hands are, and then see how I go to the ball. And he'll do one thing, and then I'll do it, and then he'll repeat it and show it to me. I don't like to talk over the phone. I like to look in his eyes and let him understand what we're talking about. And he'll tell me, he'll come to me, and I've been watching on TV. I see you. Hit the ball this way. put your shoulder in this way.
Every now and then he'll go try to pull the ball on all kind of occasions. They put a shift on him all the time, and I'm saying to him, break up the shift. Make sure that they don't do it to you. And I wish I was on the road with him so I could show him about it.
Bond's adjustments through the years have been relatively quick fixes, but the answer to October baseball still eludes him. He's batted just 280 postseason at-bats. Yet this is one aspect of the game in which Mays says he doesn't feel qualified offering pointers. This from a man who's played in 4 World Series.
I don't think I can give him any advice on that because I remember in 1954 when I did very well. I won the band championship. I hit 40 home runs, 347 or whatever. And we played Cleveland. I think I hit around 250, 260. So who am I to try to tell him how to play in the postseason when I didn't do so well?
Willie's told me, Barry, they ain't gonna let you win this game. Period. You're not gonna be the man. You're gonna have to try to do the other things and little things to help the team. That means if you got to bunt. If that means you got to steal a base. There's gonna be other avenues in this game during the playoffs that you're gonna have to do to help this team win.
When we return, Barry Bonds tries to chase down home run history and continue his pursuit of a championship.
He hacked at the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit. Justice has scored the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Wendy's Kick for $1 Million is back. This year, we want to afford to go head-to-head for the chance to kick live on TSN. You could win a Best Buy shopping spree, selloffvacations.com travel, a 2008 GMC Sierra, or a one-time payout of $1 million. TSN.ca/Wendy's to enter. Plus, go to Wendy's and get your game cup to collect bonus entries and a chance to win instant prizes. Get in the game with Wendy's Kick for $1 Million.
Planning to buy a vehicle in the next 2 months? One click to auto.ctv.ca will show you what you need to know and what you're missing. How about low lease rates, finance offers, and great year-end deals? Auto.ctv.ca. Do you know what you're missing?
Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our shared passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
Fast-breaking sports news requires rapid delivery. Keep up with Tylenol Rapid Release Rapid Alerts on your cell phone. Register at tsn.ca/Tylenol and take the pain out of staying informed. Brought to you by Tylenol Rapid Release Gel Caps. Rapid Release, Rapid Relief.
And Bonds hits one high, hits it deep, it is out of here! 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
There's all these things that go through your head. Or, God, why'd you give me this much ability just to throw it to waste? You know, I think of all kind of things.
give it to me, and I get to watch the parade go by every single year. You know, you give me these gifts for spurts, these moments of, you know, but then you put me into a big limelight situation, you make me choke every single freaking year.
Here's the pitch. Bonds hits one high to right field. Hits one deep. Number 60 out of here. And listen to this crowd.
Bonds joins 4 other legendary sluggers in the 60-homer club. Babe Ruth hit 60 in a season once in 1927. Another Yankee toppled the Bambino in 1961 when Roger Maris blasted 61. That stood as the home run standard until 1998, when Mark McGwire, who was the quickest to 60, broke Maris's mark and finished with 70 homers. For an encore, Big Mac hit 66 the next season. Sammy Sosa joined McGwire as the only 2 players to hit 60 homers twice, Sammy blasting 66 in 1998, 63 in 99. Bonds became the 5th player to hit 60 homers and was the quickest to 60, beating McGwire by a game. Mark Schwartz recaps the special day when Barry Bonds hit number 60.
Talk there, talk.
Okay. Thank you.
Talk to man, okay?
Okay.
Talk to man, I hit a home run. Say it.
I hit a home run.
This was one day Barry Bonds didn't need to be coerced into talking about home runs. It was the day he caught the mighty Babe. On this day, not only did Bonds make history, he succumbed to it.
My heart was just racing really fast. I mean, never dreamed you'd be in anything like this with a person of that caliber. Never in your lifetime would have, never. If you couldn't even write a better story, you couldn't have dreamed of anything better. It's just unreal.
Reality Bonds as he took the field the following inning. He looked up to see his image alongside that of Babe Ruth on the video board in left center.
It almost made me cry a little bit, and I was just overwhelmed that, you know, my picture's even near his picture.
You're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and so on, but they put him there. We all looking around saying, wow, he's our teammate. That don't look right.
Bonds has earned his spot on the marquee next to Ruth, but he still has no illusions about ever seeing his name in the record book alongside McGwire's.
There's not going to be that many chances. I mean, I had chances today. I had like 2 or 3 chances today. And, you know, I sat on the bench and I thought, you know, this ball that I just flew out to deep right center field, Mark would have hit that ball out of the stadium. And then the ball I hit to left field was a good pitch that I hit a line drive, and I said, well, that was another one he would have home runs today.
Clearly, Bonds was basking in the glory of 60, but not in the glare that accompanies his assault on home run history. When asked to choose between shattering McGwire's record and winning a pennant, Bonds said he'd settle for no more homers and no more interviews, and be very happy. In San Francisco, I'm Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
On September 9th, Barry Bonds passed both Ruth and Maris with 3 homers in the same game against the Rockies, including this piece of history.
Swing, and there's a shot deep to right field, a liner. This one is scored, a home run! And Barry Bonds has hit number 62. And now Barry Bonds is number 1 among all left-handed hitters in the history of the game.
We hope you enjoyed our look at Barry Bonds from his days as a teenager at the College World Series through his magical 2001 season. For ESPN Classic, I'm Bob Stevens.
Well, now 6 years later, Barry Bonds has definitely proved that anything is possible, becoming the new career home run king. Still ahead on ESPN Classic Milestones, Sports Century provides us an in-depth look at Bonds' life and career and the triumphs and struggles of the man he dethroned from the top of the home run list. That, of course, is Henry Aaron. But when we come back, we'll take a closer look at Bonds' public image. What is he really like? We'll ask Dusty Baker, who managed him for 10 seasons. All that and more is coming up.
I've been saying some controversial things about Molson Canadian. I've asked about this alleged true Canadian taste and wondered if it's brewed by Canada's oldest brewery. Does that really matter? Now, overall, people haven't reacted well, but the people here have treated me with respect and admiration.
Thank you, Alberta!
Thank you. I've enjoyed your meat.
There's only one true Canadian taste. Molson Canadian Lager.
These All Brand Snack Bites taste awesome. These taste great. It tastes pretty good. I love All Brand Snack Bites.
New Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites taste great. Really. Make fiber your friend with new Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
Great.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Autoglass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
I changed my oil. Why worry about engine sludge?
You can't see sludge coming, but it can rob gas mileage and hold your car back.
Yeah, right.
Castrol GTX has an improved formula to stop sludge in its tracks.
Give me a burger, fries.
GTX's new dispersants neutralize sludge for superior protection among leading 5W and 10W30s.
And some extra napkins.
Castrol GTX. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
All you guys lied. All of y'all, in a story or whatever, have lied. Should you have asterisks behind your name? All of you have lied. All of you have said something wrong. All of you have dirt. All of you. When your closet's clean, then come clean somebody else's. But clean yours first.
Welcome back, everyone, to ESPN Classic Milestones. Barry Bonds, the new home run king. I'm Carl Ravitch with Dusty Baker and Steve Phillips. All the tempestuous relationships Bonds has had with the media over the years continue to sort of shine. I mean, I remember doing Baseball Tonight on the road in San Francisco, and before the show began, he sat there with Peter Gammons and I and talked like we were real good friends, joking. I mean, a side you don't see, and when you say, can we sit and do this on camera, it's a different person. You know, is that a distrust thing? What is that?
Well, I think certainly it's a trust issue. I mean, listen, when you've got so much negativity on you as a player and you don't trust people because they're booing you or you think they may be out to get you, you don't ever see the real man. I think what it is, it's a real way that he protects himself. He keeps everybody at arm's length. And when the cameras are off and he's just a man, he's a husband and he's a dad. And very rarely, just on rare occasions, do we get a glimpse of who he really is.
What is he like?
Well, I mean, he's exactly like you see. I mean, Barry's not fake. And the thing about Barry is that, you know, what you see is what you get. I mean, he is full of distrust, and he has, you know, good reason to, you know, be full of distrust. I mean, he saw it as a kid with his dad. You know, Bobby's on a number of teams. Bobby got some bad raps. Mm-hmm. You know, so Barry kind of grew up, you know, looking at that. Is it right or wrong? Hey, man, who knows? But the thing about it is, in Barry's mind, in Barry's world, I mean, these things are real, and Barry's going to tell you, you know, how he feels. And if you don't want to know how Barry feels, then don't ask.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think that, you know, because he has his chip on his shoulder, he keeps everybody at arm's length away and ultimately doesn't let you see who he is. And I think when his career is over, we may ultimately start to see some of who Barry Bonds really is when the guards let down and the pressures aren't there as a player.
Well, maybe damage control.
Well, I think so. I just hope it's not too late to see, you know, what Barry Bonds is really like.
You know, we have a lot more to do here. Later, we'll examine the pressure and adversity that other record breakers have had to endure. But next, we focus on the man behind the record. Who is the real Barry Bonds? You find out next on Sports Century.
Well, my father and I weren't really close when I was young. He was never around. It was tough. I wanted my dad at my Little League games, and both my parents weren't there, just my mom.
I think Joe is hurt. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
Down goes Frazier. It is over. It is over in the second round. George Foreman is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Now the 2-2. Well hit down the left field line. Back in. Joe Carter with a 3-run homer. The winners and still world champions, the Toronto Blue Jays.
Where's the Keiths?
State your case, young man.
I'm having a poker night, and I'd like to serve some Keiths.
My finest ale would be perfect. Want to see my poker face?
Sure.
Ha-ha! To you, sir, the pride of Nova Scotia. Wilson? Ha! Never blink once.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Auto Glass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy?
Yeah, every day, same time. Bagel Boy gets a toasted bagel.
Well, he's got to have a name.
Bagel, eh?
Yeah, toasted, buttered, 12-grain bagel. Delicious.
Tim Hortons, right?
You know it.
Nothing beats a Tim Hortons 12-grain bagel with the goodness of 12 different grains baked right in.
Bagel Boy really knows his bagels.
Oh, forgot to get his name.
Always fresh, always Tim Hortons.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
It's a long way from Trail BC to the majors. Little League World Series, College Ball, Rookie of the Year, and an All-Star game. I traveled at one inning at a time. Hockey's in my blood, but baseball is in my heart. Out here, I'm an all-around player. I can beat you with my bat, my leg, my glove, or my arm. Each time I step up to the plate or make a throw, I aim for one place. This is my home. This is my sports center.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Welcome back to ESPN Classic Milestones. Barry Bonds, the new home run king. I'm Carl Ravitch. You have to get used to that. Our celebration of all things Barry continues now with Sports Century. From growing up amongst a family of baseball all-stars to his early days as a Pittsburgh Pirate to now having captured one of sports' most cherished records. It is safe to say that from the very beginning, the life of Barry Lamar Bonds has been an ongoing public fascination.
Bonds hits one a mile.
He so wanted to be regarded as one of the three greatest players.
His attitude was, if you want a friend, buy a dog.
He's going to tell you how he feels. He's going to tell you how he thinks, and a lot of people can't deal with it. You're blamed for this, or you're blamed for that. That is a lonely place to be.
There's all sorts of different types of drugs beyond this cream and this clear that Bonds is alleged to have taken.
There are things that he does that just can't be explained by chemicals.
The sad thing is now everyone's going to remember Barry Bonds as maybe the greatest player ever, but he cheated.
There it goes!
It is out of here!
It's not supposed to be that easy. High fly ball right center. He's done it again!
Bonds hits one to left center field. He hits it well. It is out of here. Number 700.
He's one of the top players ever put on a uniform. You know, you look at the stolen bases, you look at the runs scored, the walks, the RBIs, the way he's played Gold Glove defense.
Barry Bonds was freaking incredible. Usually the pitcher has the advantage in every pitcher-hitter confrontation. You got the sense watching Barry Bonds hit that he had the advantage and he wasn't going to give it up.
Nobody who plays today knows his own hitting zone better than Barry does. He just had this innate ability to just lay off the ones he had no chance to hit out and just kill the ones he did have a chance to hit out.
Down the right field line, out of here. He's got another one.
When he was at the plate, he would change the game. When he wasn't at bat, he would change the game. Pitchers and managers knew exactly where Bonds was, whether he was on deck, at the plate, or 5 batters away.
There's not a pitch that you can throw in the strike zone that he could not conceivably hit out of the ballpark. If I were to pitch against him now, you know, it would be just try to hit a corner and pray.
He walked more than 700 times in 4 years. I mean, he literally made pitchers afraid of him, made managers afraid of him through their pitchers. I don't know that that's been done since Ruth, and maybe not even then.
Into right field, and Bonds with 2 homers today.
He's an incredibly intelligent hitter. His hand-eye coordination is astounding. In 2002, 2003, 2004, he saw 7,007 pitches, swung and missed at 212 of them. So that level of the game is incredible.
Over his first 15 seasons, Barry Bonds averaged 33 homers. Then, beginning in 2001, when he hit an unprecedented 73, his average output ballooned to 52 over the next 4 years. Bonds' accelerated power paralleled a dramatic change in his appearance.
You look at him on the Pirates in those early years, the guy's skinny. He was built like Jimmy Walker. Like, you don't go from being built like Jimmy Walker to being built like Mr. T. I don't see how anybody with a straight face can say that he didn't do something to enhance his body.
Bonds had gotten bigger, but it wasn't just before the 2001 season. It was earlier. It was in the late 1990s.
There was definitely talk. Maybe Barry was taking something else he shouldn't be taking.
Bonds' response was to say, look, I'm working out a lot more, I'm taking better care of myself.
To go from a 40 home run guy to a 70 home run guy and attribute it to working out 3 times a day is nonsense.
I know Barry Bonds worked harder than any player probably I ever had in the offseason, and people don't realize that. I don't think they've ever given him credit for it.
He has a great team of trainers and works off-season, works every day. He even said Victor Conti at Balco supplies me with all these great supplements. I owe my physique thanks in part to him.
In September of 2003, 3 months after Bonds acknowledged his connection with Balco, the California-based lab was raided by federal agents. Questions began to percolate about the nature of the nutrients Bonds was using.
The raid not only was at Balco, but was at the home of Bonds' trainer, Greg Anderson. The question was, what's Barry doing associating with this guy, and why are the feds looking at this guy? And the reason was that feds believed, and Anderson ultimately admitted, that he was part of a conspiracy to distribute steroids.
On February 12, 2004, Greg Anderson, Victor Conti, and 2 others were indicted for distributing illicit steroids to elite athletes. 19 days later, the specter of steroids closer to Bonds.
The San Francisco Chronicle sent shockwaves through the sports world on Tuesday when it reported that Barry Bonds, Jason Giambi, and Gary Sheffield were among the major leaguers who received steroids and human growth hormones from Balco.
In March of 2005, when Bonds' former mistress, Kimberly Bell, testified before a federal grand jury, the heat building under the slugger intensified.
She told them that Bonds had discussed his use of steroids with her as far back as 1999, and discussed how Bonds had provided money to her in such a way that could raise red flags with the IRS. So that would open him up possibly to an investigation into perjury as well as tax evasion.
So I probably could do a lot of things if I could just smile at everybody and wave. That's not me. That's just not me.
Herbal Essences Body Envy with extracts of white nectarine and pink coral flower. Luscious body. And bounce. Herbal Essences Body Envy Shampoo and Conditioner. For luscious body and bounce. Herbal Essences.
Are you ready to change your life, look younger, and be stronger?
I went from a size 38 to a size 30 and lost over 70 pounds.
You too can get remarkable results with Bowflex Home Gyms. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week.
When they say you can work out 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, they mean exactly that. You've got to get this DVD. It'll change your life.
Call now for a free DVD that shows how you can get great results with Bowflex Home Gyms.
I gave all of my fat clothes to my fat friends.
Only Bowflex Home Gym Power Rod technology. The secret to getting a strong, sculpted body fast.
I am not embarrassed to take my shirt off. I look better. I feel better. My wife gives me that little wink every now and then.
Own your very own Bowflex Home Gym for no money down and low monthly payments. Be strong, be fit, be Bowflex. Call or go online now for your free DVD that tells you all about Bowflex Home Gyms. Call now.
Hello, Moto. And Bonds hits one hard. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Deep to right field. This one is on its way to McCovey Cove, number 500.
Unbelievable. 500 was this majestic thing that sailed into McCovey Cove. You couldn't have scripted it any better.
Bonds has hit the historic 500th homer, the 17th man in history. He joins his godfather, Willie Mays.
He gets to the plate, he's in a state of ecstasy. And Rich Aurelia hugs Barry, and that's it. The dugout, there's hardly any reaction. There's never any spontaneous joy among his teammates.
It wasn't like a Ripken-esque scene where you see everybody engulfing him, and it wasn't the moment where he's going to spontaneously do a victory lap and cheer to his adoring crowd. It was a little more scripted.
People read into it like nobody wanted to go out there and do it. I think that's crazy. And I think completely opposite, that this was Barry's time in the spotlight.
I don't know if the team realized that they could come out or they can't come out or what. They were all on the steps applauding. They all were very happy, and I think everyone gave me a hug or whatever. I don't know why they make such a big deal out of everything that has to do with me.
For most of his career, Barry Bonds has been undergoing group analysis with the entire baseball world in an attempt to reconcile the player with the man.
They can say, Barry, you're arrogant, you're cocky. I'm not arrogant, I'm good.
There's the whole locker room setting where Barry is set aside from everybody else. He's got lockers when everybody else has one.
2 lockers, that's what I have. My son has a locker because he's bad boy.
Why does Barry have this and why does Barry have that? To me, who cares? Don't ask me that question.
One question centered on a high-end recliner.
I have bulging discs in my back. Mike Murphy, who's our clubhouse guy, suggested, why don't you get one of those massage chairs?
There's times that I've walked into the clubhouse and I've looked around and I look over at Barry, and Barry is over there, reclined back.
Sound asleep with a blanket on top of him, and his teammates were going around him chatting as though he weren't even there.
It's not about everybody liking him. You think everybody that played with the Bulls like Michael Jordan?
I think Barry wants the best for all his teammates on the field, but he certainly communicates that you're not important to me off the field.
What we do on the field is when we're a team. What you do prior to that and after that is your own personal business.
When he first came up, he was somebody everybody in the clubhouse wanted to beat up at some point in time.
Sometimes he rubs some people the wrong way, but for the most part, they respect him as a player.
When you're a superstar, people expect you to be a certain way. You have to be everybody's buddy.
Among those who were not buddies of Bonds is former teammate Jeff Kent. In an August 2001 issue of Sports Illustrated, the second baseman blasted him for not caring about his teammates.
Kent knew who he was talking to, and he knew exactly what he wanted to say. He was rolling a grenade under Bonds' Barcalounger.
Neither one of them really liked the way the other guys approached their business. They were oil and vinegar as far as personality, and a lot of that stuff just sort of bubbled to the surface.
History is filled with examples of highly successful duos that didn't need to like one another. And last night, Bonds and Kent had to be pried apart in the dugout.
The Kent-Bonds thing was starting to wear a little players. So there was sort of this sense that let them kill each other, and then we can all go on with our lives.
He didn't want people to be his friend. His attitude was, and I remember him saying these exact words, if you want a friend, buy a dog.
Barry says whatever he feels, and he doesn't care if management gets upset or if his teammates get upset, and he definitely doesn't care if the media gets upset.
As the son of Bobby Bonds, who hit 332 homers in his 14-year career, Barry grew up watching his father interact with teammates and the media.
Barry's attitude was born in the years that he was a young boy watching the likes of all the great ball players. You come on the field, you give us 100%. What you do after that should be irrelevant to baseball.
Some of the newspaper people were hard on his dad at times. As a youngster, that bothered him.
If you think that's going to breed a son who's open to the media, open to the fans, not going to happen.
Barry is Barry, and sometimes he'll let you in, sometimes he won't.
A lot of players are like Barry Bonds. They don't really like dealing with us. Barry Bonds is one of the few who's honest about it.
Any relief that you got off to the start that you did?
You go negative with me, I'm walking out of here. He's going to tell you how he feels, he's going to tell you how he thinks, and a lot of people can't deal with it.
Maybe he plays baseball because he wants to play baseball, and that's it. Being a sweetheart so he can get an endorsement contract, he's going to throw that out the window.
He's got a Michael Jordan type of presence, really. But he doesn't have that Michael Jordan diplomacy.
The bottom line is, I don't think Barry really cared if we got to know him or even liked him. I think he just wanted to go out on the field and hit and run through.
I try and tell Barry, baseball is not always played on the field, it's played off the field.
He could do it, believe me. I mean, he's intelligent enough to go out and play that role, but he will not be himself.
So I probably could do a lot of things if I could just smile at everybody and wave. That's not me. That's just not me.
He used to steal bases in high school, and he used to get everybody upset. He would never slide. Why? I didn't get my uniform dry. I'm going to have to wash it.
Kerr, 5 seconds. Pippen will have to let it go. 3. Steve Kerr. No! They've done it. The Toronto Raptors have done it. They have beaten Michael. They have beaten the Bulls.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah, Dad, look, noticed that the chip had become a... Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Hi, Dad. Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Auto Glass. Canada's local auto glass experts.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
It comes with everything. Stereo cassette, 2D navigation, automatic anti-theft device. But high-mileage cars can also come with engine wear, because they burn oil faster. So get Castrol GTX high mileage for superior oil burn-off protection. In lab tests of 10W30, 17% better than leading conventional oils.
Hey.
Castrol GTX high mileage. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Where's the keys?
State your case, young man.
I'm having a poker night, and I'd like to serve some Keiths.
My finest ale would be perfect. Want to see my poker face?
Sure.
Ha-ha! To you, sir, the pride of Nova Scotia. Wilson? Ha! Never blink once.
Tomorrow, it's a jam-packed night of bone-crunching, high-flying three-down football. Kerry Joseph and Rough Riders try to sink John Avery and the Argos in Toronto, while Charles Roberts and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers fly to BC to raid G. Roy Simon and the Lions. It's a huge night of football. Riders, Argos, Bombers, Lions. Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 756. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
Born on July 24, 1964, Bonds was raised with his three siblings in San Carlos, a middle-class suburb of San Francisco. While his father, a three-time All-Star outfielder, played for 8 major league teams, Bear Pat kept the home fires burning during her husband's long absences.
He looked up much more to his mother than his father for some reason.
Well, my father and I weren't really close when I was young. He was never around. It was tough. I wanted my dad at my Little League games because everyone else's parents were there, both of them, and both my parents weren't there, just my mom.
I went to his Little League games, I went to his high school games, and the most amazing thing about it, he never thought I went to a game.
He said he was there, but I never saw him there. And I think that was why I was mad at him for so long. My mom was always there. My mom was in the snack bar with all the other moms. My mom did all the carpooling. So that's why I was more of a mommy's boy.
What became clear as Barry matured was that his father had a progressive disease, alcoholism.
My dad called me up in college. I just prayed he didn't show up. I don't know if he was going to be sober or not sober.
Barry, when he was about 18, I just remember him and my dad got in a fight, and he ran the street and he was crying. And he said, "I'm never going to be like that."
I don't think he would have risked harming anyone at the time, because I know I kept his car keys a lot. What I was doing when I was young, probably no different than Mickey Mantle, a bunch of us. I think when you wake up in the morning and look for a drink or a beer, there's a problem. But you have to recognize that problem, and I think in time he did. I didn't stop because I thought this was the best thing for the family. I stopped because I woke up and I seen a damn fool.
I remember more so talking to him after his recovery, his openness. He goes, "Gosh, if I would have known then what I know now, I would not have wasted those years of my life."
I think Barry just saw that my dad had all this potential to be this great ball player and let it all go.
Although he suffered the negative effects of his father's disease, Barry was the genetic recipient of a rare athleticism. He was inspired not only by his father, but by his godfather, Willie Mays, to play the level few children can imagine.
His dad was a great player. His godfather was maybe the greatest player that ever lived. So he's always had a lot of adulation, and he's always had a lot of attention.
There was a lot of hands in making Barry learn to love this game, and there was a lot of hands in help teaching him.
I vividly remember Barry running around the clubhouse, but he would gravitate more to Willie Mays.
Willie was the best because he was the most fun. Willie would throw balls to us a lot and make us run on the field.
Bobby always seemed to be a little more serious. He wasn't the affable clubhouse guy like Mays and McCovey were. Bobby was just a different breed, kind of a new breed of black athlete.
You can see the kind of player that Barry watched as he was growing up. Bobby was not an easy teammate to have. He was not an easy player to coach.
It was the late 60s when you had the Olympic protests by Tommy Smith and Lee Evans and John Carlos. And at the time, Bobby was kind of militant. He wasn't at all like other African Americans on the Giants.
I went through a lot of years really not knowing what my name was because I was never called Bobby. Back then, it wasn't the N-word. You know, they said what it was. They called you a nigger.
I used to get in fights when I was at school because I was black. I never forget, I came home one day and I said, you know what, I don't like white people right now. And my dad told me, he said, you know what, why don't you go out and go get the mail? And the door closed, you know, I didn't think about it. I came in, I tried to open up the door. It was locked. I was like knocking on the door, I'm like, Dad, you know, open the door. And my dad said, you ever come to my house like that ever again, that's where you live. He said, be proud of who you are. Regardless, do not allow their stupidity to make you stupid.
Caught between his father's militancy and his own unsettled feelings, Bonds withdrew into a world shadowed by distrust.
Bobby would come to the ballpark and pick him up, and all the kids would just around trying to get autographs. I think this affected Barry, kind of closed himself off at an early age to the kids around him.
It's, do you want to be my friend because I'm Barry Bonds? Do you want to be my friend because my dad plays in the big leagues?
In 5 seasons, Bobby Bonds had at least 30 homers and 30 steals. Following the 30-30 man's act was difficult, and Barry felt the pressure as a 3-sport athlete at Serra High School.
If I scored 3 touchdowns the one day in football, came back and scored 1, something was wrong with me.
I don't know if it's because he was so darn good and made things look so easy that people look for a chink in his armor.
Barry had a certain sense of cockiness, and maybe they got rubbed the wrong way about the way Barry carried himself.
He liked to showboat a little bit, you know, show a little flair.
He used to steal bases in high school, and he used to get everybody upset. He would never slide. Why? I didn't get my uniform dry, I'm gonna have to wash it.
When Barry wanted to have fun with a couple people, Barry would have fun. When Barry wanted to have fun, Barry would be in his own world. Don't bother him.
I would separate myself at times because I didn't want to deal with people always talking about me.
I've been around him when a little switch will turn and he becomes very quiet.
Despite his moodiness, Bonds excelled at Serra High, where he batted .404 over 3 seasons and made the Prep All-American team as a senior. Drafted by the Giants in 1982, he rejected a $70,000 offer and accepted a baseball scholarship to Arizona State.
Right from day one, you could see that a lot of people had heard that Bobby Bonds' son was going to Arizona State.
He came in a nice new car, and everyone was talking about the fact that Barry Bonds was coming here.
There were some of us who felt like that he might have coasted just a little bit when he got here.
I really didn't think that he had that much fire inside of him, you know. Talent-wise, I don't think there was ever any doubt.
I think Coach Brock recognized the game, and so he right away wanted to impress upon Barry to do your best all the time.
He would ride me for anything. If I didn't run to the batter's box fast enough, he would sit me.
He and Barry got along at times very well. There was a lot of joking between those two, whereas Coach Brock rarely joked with anyone else.
The jokes stopped when Bonds broke curfew during a trip to Honolulu in March of 1984.
When you go to Hawaii in college, you are not going to stay in on curfew.
To say that we were the only ones that were out past curfew is probably an understatement, but we were the 4 that got caught.
When Coach Brock called the captains into his office and decided that each player would have to run 5 miles.
And Barry spoke his mind and said, I don't think it's fair because other guys were out, and Barry was basically just being big mouth Barry, you know, talking when he probably should have just shut up and did what the rest of us did.
Well, you didn't talk that way to Coach Brock, so he suspended him.
Brock went to the team and said, I want you guys to take a team vote. You vote Barry back on, I'll let him back on. The team voted and said, forget him. And Brock said, I don't think you understood what I said. And they went and voted again, and Barry was back on the team.
But Bonds left after his junior year, when the Pirates made him the 6th overall pick in the 1985 amateur draft.
Here's a guy that's winning MVPs for us. He's getting us to the playoffs. And then once we're there, he disappeared.
As I was saying, Sasquatch's small brain really limits his intelligence. It's the color blue.
6 large French fries. I need some sausage. 5 lobsters, lots of ketchup. Chicken corn dogs. My name, Sidney Crosby.
question.
So a real sports fan doesn't just stop at football and hockey. No, you want it all year round. And that's why Rogers has literally put it all into something called the Super Sports Pack. All the sports you need at a price you're going to like. It's the perfect reason not to leave the couch.
The Super Sports Pack is where it's at for great sports content at a great value. For just $29.95 a month, you get NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, NASCAR Hot Pass, the OHL Action Pack, college football and basketball, Major League Baseball Extra Innings, and of course, NFL Sunday Ticket. Order today and pay just $19.99 per month for the first 2 months. Go to Rogers.com or call 1-877-SPORT41.
High-definition television is here now. If you don't have it, you don't know what you're missing. I mean, people talk about how they can see the actual beads of sweat on the player's brows or on the baseball. I just like it because of the overall clarity of the picture. It's like you're actually sitting in the arena or stadium. It's pretty amazing. Now, do you have HD TV at home but you're still not impressed? It's probably because you don't have the high-definition box. A lot of people don't know this, but you're not getting the true effect of high-definition television without the HD box.
With a Rogers High Definition box, you get access to 33 HD channels, including 16 of them for free. No one offers more. Only with a High Definition receiver can you get all the HD sports available on these channels, plus MLB, NHL, NFL, and NCAA action with the Super Sports Pack, making Rogers the place to be for HD sports. All you need is an HD receiver.
11 channels of all sports content. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's the Sports Theme Pack. Soccer, golf, hockey, basketball, horse racing. 11 channels dedicated to all the sports you want to see all day long. Well, my personal favorite's got to be the Fight Network. Got those sweaty beefcakes, strapping on the leather gloves for 13 rounds of pain. Arr.
The Sports Theme Pack on Rogers Personal TV gives you Leafs TV, Raptors NBA TV, the NHL Network, Gold TV, and much more. Regularly $9.99 a month. Get the Sports Theme Pack free for 2 months by ordering on Rogers.com.
With the surge in popularity in professional fighting, the most dramatic has got to be professional wrestling. And this month, Rogers brings you some giant wrestling events you're not going to want to miss.
7-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, the most dangerous man in professional wrestling today. He is Kurt Angle, and this summer, cold, hard justice will finally be served. Wrestling presents Hard Justice. It's real. It's damn real. Live Sunday, August 12th on pay-per-view.
7-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, the most dangerous man in professional wrestling today. He is Kurt Angle, and this summer, cold, hard justice will finally be served. TNA Wrestling presents Hard Justice, live, Sunday, August 12th at 8 Eastern. Go to Rogers.com or call 1-877-SPORT41.